So I had a pretty good Sunday afternoon. I was toggling back and forth between the real golf tournament in Scotland, where Rory made an amazing shot to win his first pro event on his native soil. But then I saw an even better shot from NBA superstar Stephen Curry. This was at the American Eagle tournament. He made an eagle on the last hole. He zoomed past Marty Fish.
He's got a chance. Oh, it goes in. And Steph Curry is the winner.
I mean, the guy had a hole-in-one the day before. Is there nothing he can do? With that in mind, it's no surprise that Curry earns over $90 million a year. Now, here's the rub. No one complains, obviously. I mean, he is absolutely the best. He's probably selling a whole lot of those Subway sandwiches. But it brings me to an article I saw in the Journal. An NBA role player named Brown, Bruce Brown, making $22 million a year. Now, it said that he makes the players around him better. And, of course, this is what the free market is paying. But in a real time, in a time when we see real wages, probably will not catch up, folks. This is really true. They probably won't be able to catch up to pre-pandemic trends. Is there a problem with all of this? I want to bring in now Bianco Research President Jim Bianco. Jim, you tweeted out the most telling part of this article, that there are more NBA players making $30 million a year than CEOs at S&P 500 companies. And listen, I'm okay with it, but we live in a society, political society, where we're told the rich people have, that they should be punished if they're CEOs managing 50,000 employees across 6 continents. But, it's just, I don't know. I feel like there's some sort of double standard.
Oh, there absolutely is a double standard. And in fairness to the S&P 500 companies, and use the analogy of the NBA, the highest paid player on an NBA bench is not necessarily the head coach. And the highest paid player at an S&P 500 company may not necessarily be the CEO. They might have very talented people, especially in tech and in finance, that get paid more than the CEO. But that said, you're right that at certain levels of entertainment, in sports is definitely an entertainment, we tend to look past the amount of money that the very, very talented make. And when we look at companies like CEOs of companies, we think that they're undeserving of that money, and we tend to criticize them, and that is really unfair.
Of course, Elizabeth Warren and AOC, they're usually out front and center on this. We've got the big Hollywood strike that just came, and, watching the nanny complain about how much money the executives are making. Listen, and they're making a lot, no doubt. But I didn't have time. I was going to go Google search her house, but I don't even know if I had a big enough screen to even take a look at it. It's just, I bring this up with you because I know we're entering this political period where success may be demonized to a certain degree, where we're talking about punishing the rich, or we'll hit a term fair share over and over again. And it just concerns me as a nation that might be losing its way, because I don't know that we have any more time for this kind of infighting.
Oh, I agree. And it also has an impact on the economy. There was a study done by the Federal Reserve that looked at the gains in the stock market, which is what we're all here mostly interested in over the last 30 years, from 1989 to 2019. And what it found was a lot of those gains came about because of lower interest rates and lower tax rates. That was great, because when companies pay less in interest costs and pay less in taxes, they had more to pass along to their shareholders, which we all are as stockholders. Well, that might be reversing right now. I mean, going forward from here, do we think that tax rates are going to keep going down or go up? Do we think that interest rates are going to keep going down or go up? Because if both of those go up, and especially in the tax rate side, then everybody's going to wind up losing, because we're all part of the shareholder class, whether or not we own stocks directly or through ETFs or through mutual funds. And if they have to take a bigger and bigger bite out of their profits to hand to the government, or to higher interest rates because of poor monetary or fiscal policy, we're all going to pay that price.
Yeah. I actually began the show earlier with Nancy on that same topic. Let me also ask you, and this is something that's been brewing for about 2 to 3 weeks, this second bounce in inflation. The chorus is growing louder. I don't see it. I don't understand where it comes from. I only have 30 seconds, but how is it possible we could have another spike in inflation sometime this year or early next year?
Well, 2 things. One, it's a base effect that if you look at the numbers from a year ago, the inflation levels were like 0.2. They're easy to jump over. Second of all, keep in mind the second bounce of inflation is not taking us back to 9%. It's taking us back to more like 3 or 4%. And bigger picture in 5 seconds, We did the most amazing thing to the economy in our lifetime. We shut the whole thing down in 2020 and restarted it. We're going to spend the rest of our life understanding what that meant. And I think what that meant is a lot more frictions and a lot higher level of inflation coming out of it than we had going into it. So expect 3%, 4% inflation, and that means 4 to 5% interest rates are here to stay.
Wow. You know, I'm glad you said that, because I think all the economic models out there are broken because we never dealt with this before, and everyone's going to have to go back to the drawing board. We never dealt with this kind of tsunami of cash at this short period of time. Jim, always love our conversations. Thanks a lot, my man. All right, folks, we'll be right back.